A helicopter returning from a search for Sewol ferry victims crashed in downtown Gwangju on Thursday. The United Nations Security Council has condemned North Korea's recent ballistic missile firings, and a documentary film about late Cardinal Stephen Kim Soo-hwan depicts the everyday life of the Cardinal as an ordinary person.
Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Friday, July 18th. I'm Luke Clary. The United Nations Security Council has condemned North Korea's recent ballistic missile firings. This is the first time the Security Council has taken issue with the regime's short-range missile launches.
The United Nations Security Council convened early Friday morning Korean time. The top agenda was North Korea's recent string of ballistic missile launches. The Council members unanimously adopted a statement for the press.
The members of the Security Council condemned these launches as violations of Security Council resolutions 1718.
All 15 member nations were in agreement with the meeting's conclusion, in which Rwandan Ambassador to UN and Security Council President Eugene-Richard Gasana urged the regime to fully comply with the relevant Security Council resolutions. Even China didn't raise any objections. This is the first time that North Korea's short-range missile issue was dealt with the entire Security Council. Until now, the issue was usually discussed only by the Council's Sanctions Committee. The Security Council has focused on mid to long-range missiles instead, which had more provocative impact. The latest Security Council meeting was convened following South Korea's persistent assertion that the recent missile launches by North Korea was in violation of the UN resolutions. A diplomatic source in South Korea explained that the meeting was meant to discourage North Korea from firing more missiles in the future. Although today's Security Council statement fails to produce any immediate and concrete countermeasures, it has opened possibility for much tougher responses from the UN in case Pyongyang makes additional provocations.
A firefighting helicopter crashed into a downtown area in the southern city of Gwangju on Thursday. It was returning after taking part in search operations for the Sewol ferry victims. All 5 firefighters on board were killed and 1 passerby was injured.
In the middle of a new downtown area in Gwangju City, a helicopter plummets out of nowhere and crashes into the street. Flames flare up and black smoke envelops the site. The crash created a large crater in the ground and fragments of the chopper flew to a restaurant as far as 100 meters away.
달려나가 보니까 굉장히 큰 엄청난 연기가 하늘을 솟구쳤고 그 현장을 가보니까 헬기가 큰 이렇게 화염에 휩싸여.
The helicopter belonging to the Gangwon Fire Headquarters crashed around 10:53 a.m. Thursday morning, only 4 minutes after it took off from the Gwangju Air Force Base. 5 firefighters have been killed, including pilot Jung Sung-chul, fireman Park In-don, mechanic An Byung-guk, and rescue officers Shin Young-yong and Lee Eun-kyo. A 19-year-old student also sustained burns after getting hit by shrapnel.
불길이 치솟고 있으면서 이제 도로의 문을 완전히 파편 이제 불이 붙은 파편이 여기저기 이제 널브러져 있고.
The helicopter had been supporting the ferry victim search operation since Monday, but was returning to its headquarters in Gangwon Province due to inclement weather.
행목항에서 일을 마치고 광주공항에 와서 왔다가 일 마치고 돌아가는 길이었습니다.
The Transport Ministry dispatched an investigation team to the site Thursday to collect the black box and look into the cause of the accident. But this will take considerable time, as analyzing the black box can take over half a year.
So what caused the helicopter to plunge into the ground? Many possibilities are being raised, including bad weather or a defect in the fuselage. But the authorities are holding off any conclusion until they finish analyzing the helicopter's black box, recovered from the accident site.
Around the time of the accident, it was raining in the areas around the city of Gwangju and a heavy cloud was covering along the flight route. But the precipitation wasn't heavy at all, measuring only 6.5 millimeters per hour. The winds were also very calm at 1 meter per second and the visibility was good with a range of 6 kilometers. So experts believe that it isn't very likely that bad weather had caused the accident.
비가 오더라도 시계 비행을 할 수 있는 충분한 시정이 충족이 되고 낙뢰나 강풍이 없으면 헬기는 충분히 안전한 비행을 유지가 가능합니다.
Rather, experts put more weight on aircraft defects as the cause. This is a video footage of the crash. The helicopter is plummeting at an incredible speed towards the ground. This usually occurs when there's something defective with the aircraft steering system. It appears that the pilot experienced a sudden problem with the aircraft, which prevented him from following the procedure and making an emergency landing. Experts assume that the pilot could have lost control of the helicopter as he tried to change the altitude or direction and avoid crashing into a crowded area.
비상 상황 시에 2차 피해 방지를 위해 가지고 마지막 순간까지 최대한 회피 비행을 하는 걸
The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport immediately sent investigators to the scene and recovered the helicopter's black box. If the black box is not damaged, it could yield important clues to the cause of the crash. However, Ministry believes it would take investigators more than 6 months to come up with the final result.
It's been over 3 months since the deadly sinking of the Sewol ferry, but there are still 10 missing victims. A special law on the ferry disaster is still pending in Parliament. Frustrated, bereaved families have embarked on more or less a pilgrimage.
The monsoon rain opens a new day. Bereaved family members set out to Pengmok Port, where the last was seen of the students who boarded the fateful ferry. The father and older sister of the late Lee Seung-hyun, a student at Tanon High School, and the father of the late Kim Eun-gi, another student. They walk, unspeaking. They ask for the recovery of the missing victims, for a clear explanation of the truth behind the ferry incident, and for legislation of a special law that reflects the will of the family members.
세상에 이렇게 널리 퍼진다 그러면은 특별법이라든가 진상규명이라든가 이런 걸 법조항을 만들 때에 조금은 더 우리 입장을 헤아려 주지 않을까.
They walk and walk. Neither the rain nor the heat can stop them. Other citizens who heard about the pilgrimage through social media have joined the families. The group of 6 or 7 has expanded to a long procession. The families plan to walk some 800 kilometers over 40 days, first from Ansan to Pengmok Port, and then to Daejeon City, where Pope Francis will preside over a mass during his visit to Korea next month.
The Seoul city government has refused to approve the temporary opening of Lotte World Tower. The city said that the construction company needs to come up with additional measures to address problems associated with traffic and building safety. It will be difficult for Lotte to open the low-rise buildings of its newest Lotte World complex early.
The city of Seoul has pointed to glaring problems with the new Lotte World Tower complex. 4 accidents occurred at the construction site over the past year, but no adequate safety measures have been put in place yet. The city of Seoul expects as many as 200,000 people a day would come to the tower, even if only parts of it were opened. The municipal government said there should be traffic control measures to deal with severe congestion likely to plague the area.
무엇보다도 시민의 안전이 최우선을 하기 때문에 여기에 중점을 두고 좀 더 보완을 해야 될 것이고, 교통 상황 같은 경우는 시민 불편 상황인데요. 이것이 최소화될 수 있도록.
Also, local residents became nervous when the water level at Sokchon Lake near the construction site went down and sinkholes appeared nearby, prompting the metropolitan government to reject the builder's request for an early opening of the skyscraper.
지하 수위 영향, 지질의 영향 등을 이제 정밀 조사를 해야 원인을 규명하는 데는 좀 시간이 걸릴 것 같고요.
Seoul also pointed out that more thorough emergency guidelines should be set up for fires, blackouts, building collapses, and other accidents. Lotte Corporation, in charge of the tower's construction, said it would take prompt measures when the city government sends its official notice so that Lotte World's tower could open in time. Due to be completed by the end of 2016, Lotte World Tower, also known as the second Lotte World, is a 555-meter-tall skyscraper with 123 floors. The low-rising buildings of the complex, which Lotte Corporation once opened early, will house a department store, a shopping mall, and a multiplex theater.
These days, a sack full of onions costs as little as a cup of coffee when you buy it on the farm. Growing output and dwindling consumption have plunged onion prices to half of last year's level. We make a visit to an onion farm where worries abound.
Muan County in South Jeolla Province is Korea's largest major onion production site. Onion sacks are piled up along farm roads. 20-kilogram onion nets piled along a 300-meter stretch to the town entrance have created a formidable structure. The onion sacks are found all over town, including roadsides and fields. The enormous piles are the result of onion prices dropping to half their value last year. With slow sales and inadequate storage, there's no option but to stack up the enormous unsold crop.
파기는 파는데 너무 싸니까 못 팔고 있죠, 지금. 그리고 상인도 안 와불고. 정 못 오면 이제 팔아야지 어쩔 것이에요. 뭐 이렇게 쌓아놓고 썩어볼 수는 없잖아요, 이거.
Kim Do-kyung has grown onions for 3 decades. He says this year has been the toughest ever. Kim supplies onions to large supermarkets, but his sales are down to a third of last year's as consumers aren't purchasing as much. Meanwhile, onion production in the Buan area rose 23% from last year to 210,000 tons. Output is up while consumption is falling. Onions are stacked up in the fields, but the weather is yet another concern.
비가 스며들고 뭐고 하다 보면은 부패율이 더 많기 때문에 걱정이고 날이 뜨거워도 또 덮어놔도 햇빛에 뒤처진다고 그래야 되나요? 햇빛에 익어가지고
Farmers are finding it difficult to break even and recoup even their production costs. The more they sell, the more they lose. Their concerns are growing with no solution in sight.
The retail giant Shinsegae Group, which already owns department stores and a supermarket chain, is now eyeing the convenience store market. Shinsegae's move will likely profoundly change the dynamics in the retail sector and affect commercial districts where its convenience stores will open.
A new signboard is put up on a convenience store. The Shinsegae Group acquired the convenience store chain With Me in December of 2013. Recently, it's been expanding its affiliate stores in full gear.
연내 1000점을 목표로 추진하고 있습니다. 점주에게 수익을 증대시키는 방향으로 사업 설계를 했습니다.
Large convenience store chains such as CU, GS25, and 7-Eleven already holds 92% of the convenience market in the nation. But even they can't stop Shinsegae from trying its luck as convenience store holder. The biggest reason behind Shinsegae's bold venture is the exponential growth of the convenience store market, which has expanded 17% annually on average over the past 5 years. By contrast, growth in the department store and supermarket chain markets has slowed down. Shinsegae has also introduced a groundbreaking business method for its convenience stores. When existing convenience store chains have to pay around 35% of their sales revenues to their head company, Shinsegae's store only have to pay monthly membership fees. In return, the head company provides them with merchandise and facilities. Store owners also have the right to decide on operation hours and product prices. In addition, most of the products cost 30 to 50% cheaper than in other places because they're produced by Shinsegae. However, Shinsegae's advancement into the convenience store market has raised concerns as well.
중소 개인 편의점 조그만 곳들은 더 설 자리가 아마 없어질 것 같아요.
The retail sector is watching closely whether Shinsegae's move will spark a price competition among convenience stores or change the dynamics of local stores.
A documentary film about late Cardinal Stephen Kim Soo-hwan has been produced, and it depicts the everyday life of the Cardinal as an ordinary person.
Cardinal Stephen Kim Soo-hwan was a role model for religious figures and a guardian for the socially ostracized. He always lent a helping hand to people with disabilities, elderly people living alone, and migrant workers.
우리가 다 그리스도교 신자들 아닙니까? 그럼 신자 수가 그만큼 늘은 그만큼 그리스도의 정신에서도 늘었느냐?
Like everyone else, sometimes he was worried about what people thought about him.
사람들이 나를 어떻게 평을하는가 모르겠어. 어렵게 평을하나?
The film also sheds light on the Cardinal as an ordinary person.
차가 우리 길을 방해하도록 이렇게 쏙 들어온다든지 이러면 말이지. 저놈이 이 정도가 아니고 그 이상으로.
아무런 교들이 모이면 귀신 얘기는 참 잘 해주셨어요.
The Cardinal also complained about pain while battling disease.
날이 갈수록 일어나는 게 참 어려워요.
팔다리가 저리신 건가요?
아파요.
이번 영화 작업을 하면서는 좀 더 이해하게 됐고요. 마지막 영화 작업 끝나고 나서는 이제는 사랑하게 됐다.
The documentary film about Cardinal Stephen Kim Soo-hwan portrays the final 3 years of his life. It's slated for release on August 7th.
The daytime heat can continue into the night, rendering people irritated from a lack of sleep. But here are some ways to turn the hot, sleepless nights into opportunities for some fun.
Every night, music is played in this neighborhood. The music is for a nighttime exercise class organized by the local clinic to help residents stay healthy during the summer. Anyone can take this class for free. The workout session begins when the dusk comes. For an hour every evening, local residents participate in all sorts of programs. They can stay healthy and even lose weight. Moving to the rhythm is a great way to relieve stress as well. Who needs a gym when you can come here? Try overcoming heat exhaustion with nighttime exercise.
같이 모여서 운동하고 그러면 재밌고 그래서 오히려 더 잘 때 되면 상쾌한 기분이 드는 것 같아요.
There's a special program that can be enjoyed only on summer nights. There are still visitors left in this zoo in Gyeonggi Province, although it's way past its normal closing time. That's because during summer, the zoo stays open at night from 7 to 9. People on late-night outings walk around the zoo as if they're exploring the safari in the dark. The night zoo offers an atmosphere quite different from that of the day.
밤에는 온 기회가 없었었는데 밤에는 동물들이 어떻게 지내는가 생각을 못 해봤었거든요. 근데 실제로 밤에 이렇게 다니니까 자지 않고 깨어있구나 그런 걸 느꼈어요.
Another merit of the night zoo is that people can see how nocturnal animals actually behave at night. We often see lions, sand foxes, and hedgehogs asleep during the day, but late at night they're awake and more active. These animals fascinate children who've always wondered why they're always asleep. The zoo has another tempting offer only for nighttime visitors. It's mouth-watering barbecue. This outdoor barbecue makes the zoo feel more like a camping ground. The nighttime tour of the zoo provides a different experience for the entire family.
낮에는 햇빛 때문에 너무 뜨겁고 더운데 저녁 때 오니까 너무 선선하고 좋고요. 뭐 바베큐도 있고 먹을 게 많아서 좋은 것 같아요.
The Han River is a favorite haunt for those driven out of their homes by the heat.
열대야라 너무 더워서 치킨도 먹고 바람도 쐬러 나왔어요.
A riverside park in Yeouido plays free movies for people cooling off by the river. This romantic summer night theater opens every Friday and Saturday until August 16th. On weekdays, the theater is turned into a venue for other cultural events like a photo exhibition or a jazz concert.
밖에서 시원한 바람 쐬면서 무료로 영화 관람하니까 기분도 좋고 스트레스도 많이 풀리는 것 같아요.
시원해서 너무 좋은 것 같아요.
When you can't stand the hot and sticky nights anymore, try these nighttime options to make your summer a little more bearable.
Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.